In a small isolated town named Willowbrook, nestled between dense forests and mist-shrouded hills, lived a man named Michael Harris. He had recently moved to the town, seeking solitude and a fresh start after a painful divorce left him shattered. The townsfolk, although reserved, were welcoming to their new resident, offering friendly smiles and waves as he settled into his new life. Michael's new home was a century-old house that seemed to blend seamlessly with the mysterious ambience of Willowbrook. Its wooden exterior boasted intricate carvings and stained glass windows that glowed with a warm, inviting light each evening. As he unpacked his belongings, he couldn't help but feel a sense of optimism for the future. Yet there was an undeniable undercurrent of unease that clung to the air, even on the sunniest days. The townspeople would exchange knowing glances whenever Michael mentioned his new residence, as if they held secrets that were better left unsaid. He tried to dismiss their odd behavior as small-town quirks, but he couldn't shake the feeling that there was something lurking beneath the surface. One evening, as Michael was arranging books on a shelf, he heard a faint whisper that seemed to emerge from the walls themselves. He froze, his heart pounding in his chest. He strained to listen, his senses heightened, but the whisper had faded as quickly as it had come. Chalking it up to exhaustion, he went to bed, hoping for a restful night's sleep. However, the following nights brought more than just whispers. The faint murmurs escalated into chilling cries that seemed to reverberate through the very core of the house. Michael's anxiety grew as the hours passed, and sleep became an elusive luxury. He began noticing odd occurrences: the curtains swaying when there was no breeze, the floorboards creaking under invisible footsteps, and the sensation of being watched by unseen eyes. Despite his rational nature, Michael couldn't deny the mounting evidence that something was amiss in his new home. He began to research the history of the house, spending hours poring over old records and dusty archives at the town's small library. As he delved deeper, he learned that the house had once belonged to a woman named Evelyn Blackwood, who had vanished under mysterious circumstances decades ago. Evelyn Blackwood had been an enigmatic figure in Willowbrook, known for her eccentricities and rumored to possess knowledge of the occult. The townspeople had whispered tales of her practicing dark rituals under the moonlight and communing with shadowy entities. Eventually, she had disappeared without a trace, leaving behind a trail of speculation and fear. As Michael pieced together the fragments of the past, he couldn't help but wonder if the whispers and eerie occurrences were somehow connected to Evelyn's untimely disappearance. Despite his growing unease, a determination ignited within him to uncover the truth behind the haunting whispers and the enigmatic Evelyn Blackwood. Little did he know that his pursuit of the truth would lead him down a treacherous path, where the line between reality and the supernatural would blur, and the darkest secrets of Willowbrook would be revealed in ways he could never have imagined. Michael's determination to unravel the mysteries surrounding his new home consumed his days and nights. He immersed himself in research, scouring through old newspaper clippings, diaries, and town records in search of any information about Evelyn Blackwood. The more he learned, the more he realized that her story was intertwined with the town's deepest fears. As the weeks turned into months, the haunting whispers grew more intense. They transformed from faint murmurs to agonizing wails that seemed to echo through the very walls of the house. Michael's sleep-deprived eyes bore dark circles, and his once confident demeanor had given way to a tense and anxious disposition. He began documenting his experiences in a journal, detailing every strange occurrence, every chilling cry, and every flicker of movement he caught at the corner of his eye. He became a recluse, venturing out into the town only when necessary, shying away from the curious gazes of the townspeople who had initially welcomed him. One evening, unable to bear the torment any longer, Michael set up a recorder in the room where the whispers seemed to be the strongest. He hoped that capturing the spectral voices would provide some evidence of his ordeal. The next morning, he played back the recording, his heart racing as the playback revealed a cacophony of agonized cries and distorted whispers. Desperation and fear gnawed at him, pushing him to seek help from the only person who might understand his predicament, an elderly woman named Agnes, who was rumored to have lived in Willowbrook her entire life. Agnes was known for her knowledge of the town's history and its hidden secrets, and some whispered that she had once been a confidant of Evelyn Blackwood herself. With the recording in hand, Michael approached Agnes one misty afternoon, finding her tending to a small garden in her backyard. The wind carried a melancholic tune as he explained his haunting experiences and shared the recording with her. Agnes listened intently, her face etched with a mixture of concern and recognition. Finally, she spoke, her voice carrying a weight of sorrow and foreboding. Evelyn's presence still lingers, trapped between worlds, seeking release from her torment. She was accused of dark deeds by the town, accused of consorting with forces beyond our understanding. But the truth is far more complex than the rumors suggest. Agnes continued to reveal fragments of the past, painting a picture of Evelyn Blackwood as a misunderstood woman who had delved into ancient knowledge in search of power, only to be ensnared by forces she couldn't control. She spoke of Evelyn's tragic end, the circumstances of her disappearance, and the way her restless spirit had become entwined with the very essence of the house. Michael felt a mix of sympathy and dread as he absorbed Agnes's revelations. He realized that he was now part of a larger narrative, a tale of darkness and redemption that spanned decades. Armed with newfound understanding, he resolved to confront the spirits that haunted his home and find a way to release Evelyn from her suffering. Little did he know that his quest for answers would lead him to uncover even deeper layers of horror, pushing the boundaries between the living and the supernatural to their limits. The shadows grew longer, and the whispers more insistent, as Michael's journey delved further into the heart of Willowbrook's chilling history. Armed with Agnes's insights, Michael began to delve deeper into the mysteries of Evelyn Blackwood and the town of Willowbrook. He spent his days poring over ancient tomes, searching for clues on how to communicate with the restless spirit and, hopefully, provide her with the peace she so desperately craved. His determination led him to the town's decaying library, a dimly lit chamber filled with dusty volumes that seemed to hold the secrets of ages past. Among the yellowing pages, he discovered references to rituals and incantations that promised a connection to the spirit world. Though hesitant, he realized that this was his only chance to confront the whispers that had tormented him for so long. One moonlit night, with a mixture of trepidation and resolve, Michael set up a makeshift altar in the room where the whispers were most potent. He lit candles, burned fragrant herbs, and began to chant the incantations he had painstakingly transcribed from the ancient texts. The air grew heavy, and the room seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. As the incantations reached their crescendo, a sudden gust of wind blew out the candles, plunging the room into darkness. The air grew icy, and a feeling of unease settled over Michael. He strained his ears, and for a moment, all was silent. Then, the whispers began anew, their voices intertwining in a cacophony of longing and despair. "Who calls to me?" A voice, both ethereal and haunting, echoed in the room. Michael's heart raced as he responded, his voice trembling yet determined. "I am Michael, the current occupant of this house. I seek to understand your torment, Evelyn, and help you find peace." The room seemed to vibrate with a mixture of anticipation and apprehension. A presence unseen yet deeply felt enveloped him. "You are the first to seek me out," the voice whispered, carrying with it a sense of sorrow and gratitude. "But understanding comes at a price, Michael." With those words, the room plunged into darkness, and Michael felt an overwhelming sensation of being pulled into a place that was neither here nor there. He was surrounded by swirling shadows, and the whispers grew louder, becoming anguished cries that seemed to echo from all directions. Images flashed before his eyes, visions of Evelyn's life, her aspirations, her mistakes, and her longing for redemption. Amid the chaos of spectral memories, Michael caught a glimpse of a figure, Evelyn herself, her form ethereal and flickering. She reached out to him, her gaze a mixture of desperation and hope. "Help me find release, Michael. Help me break free from this eternal torment. The key lies in the forgotten knowledge of the ancients." As suddenly as it had begun, the vision dissipated, leaving Michael standing in his dimly lit room, his heart pounding. He knew what he had to do. He had to unearth the ancient knowledge that had been shrouded in darkness for so long, and use it to free Evelyn's spirit from its perpetual suffering. Armed with a newfound purpose, Michael's journey took him deeper into the heart of Willowbrook's secrets. He sought the guidance of those who had once known Evelyn, and had dared to defy the town's conventional wisdom. He unearthed forbidden texts and artifacts that held the power to bridge the gap between the living and the dead. But as he delved further into the darkness, he began to realize that the forces he was meddling with were far more potent and dangerous than he could have ever anticipated. The line between his reality and the supernatural blurred, and the shadows that had once haunted his nights now threatened to consume him whole. As Michael's obsession grew, he found himself on the precipice of a revelation that could either save him or plunge him into a darkness beyond imagination. The whispers and secrets of Willowbrook were converging, leading him toward a confrontation that would test his resolve, his sanity, and the very fabric of reality itself. Michael's pursuit of the ancient knowledge consumed him, leading him down a treacherous path that twisted through forgotten realms and hidden truths. He deciphered cryptic texts, performed rituals that defied reason, and ventured into the darkest corners of Willowbrook's history. With each step, the whispers grew stronger, their voices more insistent, as if they were urging him to uncover the truth at any cost. Days blurred into nights as Michael's determination bordered on obsession. The townspeople watched from the shadows, their concern turning into fear for the man who had dared to unearth secrets better left buried. But Michael was no longer concerned with their opinions. He was consumed by a singular purpose: to free Evelyn Blackwood's spirit and lay to rest the restless whispers that haunted his home. As the final pieces of the puzzle fell into place, Michael stood on the precipice of a revelation that would test the boundaries of his understanding of reality. Armed with ancient artifacts and a heart heavy with determination, he embarked on a ritual that was meant to bridge the gap between the living and the dead, a ritual that would bind his fate to that of Evelyn's. The night of the ritual was shrouded in an eerie stillness. The moon hung low in the sky, casting its pale light on the house that had become a nexus of mystery and darkness. Candles flickered, casting dancing shadows on the walls, and the air felt charged with a palpable energy that seemed to vibrate with anticipation. As the ritual reached its climax, Michael's voice echoed through the house, his words a mixture of ancient incantations and heartfelt pleas. The room seemed to come alive with an otherworldly presence, and the whispers that had haunted him for so long crescendoed into a chorus of anguished cries. Then the room fell silent. The air grew still, and a figure materialized before him. The ethereal form of Evelyn Blackwood, her eyes filled with a mixture of gratitude and sorrow. "You have ventured where no other dared to tread, Michael," she whispered, her voice echoing like a distant melody. Michael held his breath as he spoke, his voice a mixture of reverence and determination. "I offer you a way to find peace, Evelyn. I offer you release from the torment that has bound you to this plane." Evelyn's form wavered, and for a moment, the weight of decades seemed to rest upon her shoulders. "The path you tread is treacherous, and the choices you make will ripple through time itself. But if you are willing to bear the consequences, then I accept your offer." The room seemed to tremble as Michael and Evelyn's fates converged. With the utterance of a final incantation, a blinding light enveloped them, and the world seemed to dissolve into a maelstrom of colors and sensations. They journeyed through a realm that defied description, traversing through memories and emotions, until they reached a nexus, a point where past and present converged. In that moment, Michael was granted a glimpse into Evelyn's life, her desires, her regrets, and the choices that had led her down a path of darkness. He understood the pain that had driven her to seek power, the isolation that had fueled her quest, and the moment when her actions had spiraled beyond her control. With a surge of determination, Michael extended his hand, offering Evelyn a chance to break free from the cycle of torment. She hesitated, her form flickering before reaching out and grasping his hand. In that instant, the world seemed to shudder, and the walls between realms crumbled. As the blinding light faded, Michael found himself standing alone in the room, the candles extinguished, and the air heavy with a sense of finality. The whispers were gone, replaced by a haunting silence that echoed the weight of the choices he had made. He knew that he had succeeded in setting Evelyn's spirit free, but he also realized that the consequences of his actions would forever alter the fabric of Willowbrook's history. The town's shadows held their secrets, and its whispers were silenced. But the tale of Michael and Evelyn would forever remain intertwined, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit, the darkness that resides within, and the choices that shape the course of destiny. And so Willowbrook stood as a quiet town once again, its secrets buried beneath layers of history. The house that had once been a nexus of mystery and horror now stood as a silent witness to a story that defied the boundaries between life and death, between reality and the supernatural. The whispers had been silenced, but their echoes would forever linger, a reminder that even in the darkest of shadows, the power to find redemption and release lies within the heart of the living.